Okay, so now I want to talk about another concept. Now, if we look in our PowerPoint, you can see here that I put something like this. Find the number of unique payments done by each customer, and I put here this column name equals customer ID, and this column name, which is number of payments, let's put payments, this column. Now, let's say I want to achieve this. What will we do? We'll do select customer ID and also count from payment group by customer ID, and I will have these two columns. Now if you see here, the name of the column, this column is count, where I want to achieve this. Now my question is, where does this column come from? Because our table payment doesn't have count. Well, for this you need to understand how Postgres is rendering these results on the screen. So there are lots of steps that Postgres is doing behind the scenes when we are firing a query, but the last step is something that is done by this. It will go in the actual table, and then it will select the values. Okay, my keyboard. Okay, it will select the values, and it will create a temporary table and display it. So every table that we see here is not the actual table that is in the file in our database, because database, basically, if you remember, is just a server, and all this information is stored on some files. This is not the actual table, it's just a temporary table that is being created, and it's being compiled and displayed on the screen, in our case this client PG admin. So that's why all these columns it takes from the actual table and displays. But when you want to do like a disaggregate function, it doesn't found the name of the column, and basically it will just put the name of the function. But now I want to talk about the concept of aliases. Aliases. So what is an aliases? It means that you can specify another name for this temporary table, for a specific column, even for some variables and values. But don't go into all this kind of detail. So for example, how it works something like this. You put the keyboard as, and then you specify your column name. So I can put number of payments. Now let's see what it will happen here. If you see here, my count has been transformed in this number of payments column. Now if you remember what I told you, this is just a temporary table. It's not the actual table. It hasn't done a modification on our actual table. And I can put even here as ID, and you can see here has transformed my customer ID in an ID, but it doesn't transform the actual column in my actual table. It's just an aliases. An alias is where you just put a temporary name in your temporary column from your temporary table. So this we can achieve all these values, these columns names that I put here, and it's more human readable. For example, let's go here, find the total amount spent by each customer. You will do something like sum amount, and if I don't put as, I will get sum, the name of the function, and if I put as total amount, I will get the name that I put here in the aliases. Now you can do this for every column, not just disaggregate, as you can see here, for every column in your table. And that's all.